I don't talk to a lot of people, so I don't know. I don't go up saying, "Hey, what do you think about Warhammer 40K?" It's not like they're making an effort to hide it, so I don't think it's like Revenge of the like Attack of the Nerds, where if I talk about it, I'll be ostracized from society for being different.
Oh,
Well, let me tell you, brother.
Let us all tell you something.
all of us physically reacted to that, didn't we? Oh, that's
We all did.
Was it bad? Was it bad?
It's not.
Was it bad?
Literally, you got beaten up for liking Warhammer. Even like for me, like playing video games was like just about starting to become cool, especially when you're playing like it early. People were ripping you into that. Oh, you're playing Pokemon on your GBA.
The best analogy I can give is that, like, in about 20 before 2010, so like 2007 to 2005, back in the day when we were getting into it and stuff, is that it was the equivalent of like being gay in the 1970s. It was like you had to have code words.
Yeah.
You had to like
you couldn't advertise
someone and somebody would pick up on a word and say, "Oh, for the Emperor? What's that? What? You? Warhammer? Me? Yeah." Then you could come out with it. Yeah, exactly. You had to like you had to be very careful around that because it was not socially acceptable, and it was something that, I mean, look, I was one of them kids that didn't give a shit, and I would just sit and read my White Dwarf on the bus. However, that cost me over time socially. That cost me, and I had to sit with the repercussions of being that kid who liked Warhammer. So yeah, it used to be a very much so an underground thing in general. If you liked it, it was almost a prerequisite that you were a weirdo, or people just thought you were one.
Okay, so when I was still in school, it was kind of the same way with anime. It was, but like that changed eventually. But like in my elementary and middle school, you didn't. People who watched it, I didn't really talk about it. Like it was not. It was like a
comparison.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then like during the
used to look at anime is how people used to look at Warhammer.
Yeah, I think when that changed, like over the pandemic, I think people just in my generation, like school, they just got used to just doing things because you had to fill the time somehow. I think a lot of people started watching anime. I think a lot of people also started doing these hobby projects on the side, and when we came back, it just kind of was like normal. Like, oh, you watch it too? Nice. Yeah, that's what else were you gonna do during the year where you had nothing else to do?
Yeah. Oh, it was great.
I think the pandemic kind of just really made it so it's just kind of normal.
Anime is a perfect like example for it. I mean, I stopped liking anime, and then it became cool to like it. That was another underground thing as well. But no, it used to be this underground thing. I mean, and that kind of goes into like the way that the setting was presented as well. It was kind of like this little weird corner of the internet and the world. It was, I tell you what, man, before YouTube became as accessible and mainstream, like before Google took over YouTube, and pretty much like in this day and age, if there's a thing, there's YouTube channels myriad that cover it and make content about it. It never used to be like that. Back in the day, you used to have maybe a couple. There was a couple. You had mini wargaming, and you had blue table painting, and you had a couple of the OGs. But we're talking about like maybe once a week, really grainy random videos that they'd upload. Back in the day, it wasn't accessible with the wealth of information that there is now. As I like to say ad nauseum, and I've said this a few times, but I will reiterate just for the sake of the conversation, is that like when you were gathering your information, you were learning about the hobby, the main connection was the White Dwarf magazine, which was the monthly magazine that was always £4.99 I was barely ever allowed to get, and that was it. You basically drew all of your information from them, or if you knew somebody who had read the books. I didn't really even know about the books for the longest time. It was all that magazine, and you had little tidbits of information, and it very much felt like you were connected to this little underground lair that nobody knew everything about, or nobody even knew most things about it. They just had like their information from their codex or whatever, and lots of tidbits of information about the lore, the world, the setting. I know I'm kind of just talking about 40k now rather than wargaming, but it was all kind of compartmentalized, and it was a lot more mythical.
So much of the information was just spread through word of mouth. So you would hear these almost legendary sort of mythical tales that somebody had told somebody twice removed from the person that you were talking to, which is, you know, that's where the whole Baneblade being a scout tank comes from. But it was the entire setting had this huge level of mysticism to it because of that.
Yeah,
you know,
I like how Mew was hidden underneath the truck.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That registers. Yeah, that registers. I get that one.
So that's what it was. That's what the differences were in terms of the setting. Now, obviously, everything is super accessible. You want to know anything about the lore, you can pull up a 3-hour video that explains every single detail of it, and then that's it. That's it. You know, that level of mystique really isn't there in the modern day. Obviously, perceptions change now. You've got all sorts of influencers who get their tits and arse out and pretend to paint Warhammer to make it more accessible and palatable by the masses, and it is now, really, isn't it? I mean, look, we're talking about an Amazon TV show, for God's sake, so it's a completely different thing, and that comes with its downsides, of course. Things getting watered down, things getting a lot more made palatable for modern audiences, and yeah, so there is definitely some stark contrast to how it used to be to how it is now. I'm quite conscious that we've pretty much just only talked about 40k, but realistically, that is what's been affected the most.
Isn't that like how? Isn't the was mostly just 40k? Like there wasn't really any other systems for the most for a while.
Well, no, there was definitely. I think there was most likely historical wargaming predates Warhammer. I think, because I mean, we were playing war games in World War One, World War Two to try simulate battles and come up with battle plans.
I mean, miniature painting isn't anything that new. We've been doing it for hundreds, you know, at least 1700s, you know, hundreds and hundreds of years at this point. So, but there's obviously been a stigma in the past, but like we say, like we've been saying, it's becoming much more popular. I mean, I don't know if anybody here knows of the Unsubscribe podcast, but
yes,
the vast majority of the people who do that are now getting into Warhammer, you know. Habitual line crosser has been reading the Horus Heresy over the last couple of months and posting about it, and he's millions of subscribers, gets millions of views. Hundreds.
Actually, it's really funny you should say that, because I saw a video of that Asmongold's just got into Warhammer as well as a big video. Making a brick coat and clean one. Henry Cavill, obviously you got fucking all sorts of people.
Isn't he in the show?
Yeah, he's
Henry Cavill's set to be in it. He's helping to produce it and being a big part of the actual production of it. Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
that's cool.
That's good.
I mean, Henry Cavill's probably the only reason that the show's actually going to go forwards. If we're being honest, if he leaves and makes a public scene about it, I doubt the show's actually going to happen.
Yeah, it's definitely. It's not the. I think the Warhammer 40k community is definitely not the one to try force some random fucking woke shit on at the last second. I don't think it's going to be very good for sales. Hello, boys. If this is your first time seeing this channel pop up, what's up? This is Relics of War. We have a little community where we do paint and streams, live conversations at least once a month. The streams go down every single week. We also give you access to the cheapest Warhammer in the world at Red October Games. That's 25% off the retail UK prices. We all know UK is the cheapest in the world. This is the cheapest in the UK. So it's the cheapest in the world. You can't really lose. You want to support the channel, links are going to be in the description. Subscribe for awesome live events, weekly streams, regular uploads, loads of good bullshit, and join the Discord if you want to keep along. Hop in the chat and literally be featured in the videos. All these voices that you hear are just dudes from the community stream, dudes from the Discord community that are in the stream. So what do you got to lose, boys?